What fascinates me most about the animal circle of life is the intricacies between the large and the very, very small. I mean, it's very easy to go out there and find the large. Once you found the large, the cascading effects down to the small absolutely fascinates me. Alertness and situation awareness is by far the #1 aspect for protecting ourselves out on safari. Join me on the next live safari on DSTV channel 183.
This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Jumbo, everyone. Another beautiful morning. Welcome, to Masai Mara. I am here, and to start with, I have these two beautiful jackals, but we can only see one at the moment. We'll be showing it with you shortly. And welcome to your morning live safari. Jumbo and good morning all Wild Earth family. Welcome to your morning safari. Here I have a beautiful jackal. We are coming to you live from the Masai Mara, and our weather this morning, it's quite chilly. We had rain all night as the weatherman predicted, and today we are starting with 17 degrees Celsius, about 63 Fahrenheit. We expect to have some rain later on. And remember to talk to us at Kids Questions or at Wild Earth. You can send in your kids' question. Also, you can talk to us on hashtag Wild Earth and also at FC. To start with, I have a silverback jackal. But before that, my name is Isaac. And on camera, I have Bungeji, the one on only, and we're set out to go to the marsh, see what we can find for you. We did hear lots and lots and lots of noises of lions and hyenas while it was raining. We didn't know which direction it was coming from, but we are thinking that we will find some lions. Our aim is to go and try and find Romy this morning, but anything that is on our way, we'll share it with you. Like I said, remember to talk to us, hashtag Wild Earth. You can also send in your kids' question at Wild Earth TV and also at FC. Yes, and to start with, we have one of my favorite animal. It brings good luck when you see it very early in the morning, so I hope, it has sent some good vibes this morning. These are puppies that are about 4 months old and maybe a week or so, because since we started seeing them, they are picking up scent of something. You can see that. James Jumbo, yes, what a way to start with the jackal puppies. Thank you for your beautiful comment. Every time I have come here, I haven't found the parents of these cuties, but they seem to be full every time I come and also very playful. So I just, I love the energy that they have in the morning. Remember that these guys are known, when you see them to find a lion, they are very vocal, they pair for life, and not only that, they are very, very efficient hunters. Looks like they want to go underneath my car. I don't want them to do that because they will get used, and not everybody is like me. They might run over them. So let me try and continue on and see what else I can find for you. And while I do that, let's take you to another live location.
Welcome to Juma, welcome to the dawn, welcome to South Africa, everybody, where it is a beautiful, glorious start to the day. Bit of a front developing on the horizon there. Some wind pulled in last night and has cooled everything down. Hello everybody, my name is Steve Folgovich, joined by Theo Alisal on camera, and as always we are very excited to have you with us. And as always on mornings like this, beautiful and serene, we're going to frame up a little bit of the sky. There's a tree with a woodpecker on it, and I'm just going to allow you to listen to the morning unfolding.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Up here in Juma Private Game Reserve in Savisent in Lawfield this morning. It's kind of the temperature slightly, I might say, drop, but then 19 degrees 66 Fahrenheit. The wind is picking up quite smoothly, and we're just gonna carry on with the day like that. And my name's Andrew on camera this morning. I have Paul. So it's thumbs up already. So this is how we're going to be taking you to our game drive live this morning. Looking at the beautiful Impalas there. They're just chilling out as they always do. Kind of like running around when we get here. Not sure what's happening. It's probably one of the male there trying to push them up and down. Some of them they just ran across from the north. And this is where they've been separated pretty much all night, I think. It's the only time for them to be able to travel distances when the daylight comes up. Would it be sooner? Or November, beginning of November, or mid-November, December. I've seen a lot of baby of these animals running around. And this is where they will give birth, for sure. And it's going to be a lot of a baby. They mainly give birth to one baby at a time. If it's ever happened that they give twins birth, it might happen, but mainly one. So they have a kind of a unique coat where they're a lot different to springbok. That's why we don't have a springbok in this area, where it's not actually dry very well yet for them. And these type of animal we're looking at right now, when you're gonna switch them to the places where there is a springbok, they won't make it because it's dry, and they don't need dry permanently. These guys, they all need nutritious for them to feed. So I'm gonna go to send you to another guide who will show you more beauty of the wilds while we continue to look for them.
Good morning and welcome to the Masai Mara. We have a very beautiful sunrise. Look at the reflection on this mini pond here, where we have sometimes animals come to drink. My name is Tim, and behind camera we have Big James. A very nice weather, about 17 degrees Celsius, about 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Seems like This place is deserted. We had lots of buffaloes yesterday evening, and we have a good lion activity yesterday evening, so I think they might have walked over to the other side of the swamp. So this morning I'm trying to find lion and cheetah, and also the big herd of wildebeest. Seem like because of the rain, they all be gathered somewhere in the plains. I can hear a very nice melody of a rufous-napped lark. Very melodious. And you can hear the response of the other lark. Those are the sounds of the African wilderness. How cool is that to wake up in the morning with such a melodious song from these birds? What a beautiful sunrise this is. As the sun is sinking slowly into the clouds, I'm going to head off to see what I'll find as I take you over to another live location.
Beautiful. So we haven't moved from this last spot here. I thought I'm going to move forward, but what I've seen about this antelope, they're trying to move out of that thicket. And then since the wind is picking up, for sure, a lot of time, they're trying to spend a lot of time with this animal just to see what they do, what their reaction they are, and what their behavior, what they ever threatened. And then you're able to, not only once you can tell that, but when you spend more time with them, and this is where you finally maybe found out what's the problem there. So since they all form group together, they were looking at not actually a very good number or big number. Good morning, spacewalker. Morning to your beautiful show this morning. So you want to know how many Impala can travel in one herd. So, well, creation of the herd started from anything like 10 or 5 females dominated by one male always. But then, continuously, it developed over the years since they are breeding every year. And we know that they are seasonal breeder, but then finally in the next 5 years, then you see a lot of change. The herd has been developed or bigger. And then finally end up see 30. So from 5 animals to about 30, maybe roughly about 5 years later, you're able to witness that. But at the end of the day, you may finally find about nearly 70 or 60, possibly 100, if they succeed in terms of breeding. But understanding something unique about this animal, so the dominant thing here change quite often. So I'm going to stay here, put while you you go on enjoy another beautiful wildlife on another location, just to see what this impala do finally. Otherwise, I'll move on.
Well, Jumbo, once again, and here I have come across one of my favorite predators that I haven't shared with you for a very long time. Looks like this is the Olololo clan, but there are only a handful of them. Looks like they're just coming from their morning patrol, and they haven't found something, so they're still looking. I don't know why they have left into the marsh. They're walking in the water there. Looks like they haven't eaten. Remember, this is the spotted hyena, our most common hyena. Very, very successful. In fact, in most of their hunts, they're much more successful than the lions. This one is one of the collared females. That collar is not heavy, but it is very essential, to collect data to tell us how far they go, and etc., etc. Spotted hyena are very active at night, and looks like they're just coming from doing that and heading towards, the woods. I don't know what is there, but I can hear the baboons barking. It's like somebody made a kill, and hyenas are investigating. They are very good at that. When they see vultures, when they hear that kind of barking, from hyenas, from baboons, they will go to investigate, and they are not afraid of lions. And especially if they are lionesses, they sometimes will actually take a kill of lionesses. So they have power to reckon, and they are to be respected in these African plains. Look at that young guy. The light is just beautiful, and he is following suit. Where the others have gone, he is going, and hopefully they will get something. Remember to talk to us, #Wild Earth. Questions, comments are really, really welcome. Usually you will see them like this, 3 or 2 or ones, and they act like scouts. If one spots something and he needs a backup, he will, howl, he will call, and usually that call says, I need backup, bring in the cavalry, and I tell you, you will see all, hyenas heading to that direction, and they can be from 1 to 60, and when they're in that numbers, tables can turn if they just, a few lions on a kill. This is an animal that lives up to around 20, 22 years in the wild, and can live long, I think, in captivity, and has got an appetite that I cannot compare to anybody else. One of the strongest jaw powers in the African plains. So you don't want to give it your finger. Yeah, looks like they are headed to the bushes, and they're disappearing on me really fast. Sassy Cassie Jumbo. Well, it depends on when the collar was put. I don't have an idea when it was put, but most collars don't last more than 2 years. It's either they fall off just before the batteries wears down, or the researchers know when the battery is about to die, so that they can locate it, they will find it, and that is almost 2 years. There is 1 year and 2 years, but 2 years is the most, so that they can collect the most data. So, Sassy, that's your answer. Looks like they have disappeared on me. There's still a lot, that we can share with you. So let me continue on and see what else I can find. But I tell you, it's such a beautiful morning. Look at the sunlight, on the grass. After the heavy rains that we had last night, it is just perfect. I'm hoping that the clouds will clear and we'll have one of the most beautiful morning that we can have. It's water everywhere, so today I have to be really careful where I drive. Well, let me get along somewhere else. We'll see you shortly. Let's take you to another different location.
Thank you very much. Hyena also very beautiful animals to watch, especially early this morning. Got a lot of energy to run around. We're still here in this ground here. Now looking at this male, I also started to talk about him when we link you to another location. So this is the male that he controls the whole group here. You might have heard him sometimes make a lot of noises. It's so that he's trying to advertise his range, his home range, the ground here, where he grouped all of these females by himself. But I started to talk about the dominate when change, which yes, it changed quite often. Sometimes dominate cannot last longer. Some places where it's a lot of males outstanding out there. There's a bachelor group, which there are a grouping up there, those that don't have opportunity to dominate. So each one of them, whoever feels strength enough to be able to challenge dominate, it always happened. So where you found that dominate sometimes takes a week or 2 weeks, sometimes less than that. And then he's been pushed off, especially during the mating season where he becomes weaker, he cannot stand for a fight. A lot of time those come with a lot of strength, able to push that bull out of the high rim and take it on from the mate. Another bull will do the same. So it's quite a lot of difference dominate in one season, mating season. But it cannot happen that they're two dominate all together in the same high rim. No, it has to be one. Linda, you're right. Impressive horn, you said. I agree with that. So they are, you can see how they're cold, it looks slightly cold, a bit, but not like what you see on Kudu, really. But they are sharpening. So male use this horn also for sure to able to fight against other males. Mainly, these horns are for fight. And then female that don't have horn, those horn that you see, they're slightly coming up with this young one, the all young male, and they're all born last November, December there. But this horn only develop bigger length when they're anything from 2 years, 3 years for the males. 4 years old, this is when the males are now pretty much independently, and of course the challenge for them, this is where they started to come to sexual maturity, which is from there they will be facing a lot of a challenge, trying to cause problem for them to be able to fight another bull who is ever dominant around in this area. So it looks like now they've been waiting this open for long, with this wind holding them so much that they don't want to go into bush because they don't trust. But slightly, I think they're going to go in there. But when they do that, you'll see they won't do it for long. Every time they'll run back here, every time the bush makes a lot of noises, they'll run back to the open, recheck again where they come from, if it's safe or not. I'm going to go to send you again to another guide who will show you more of the beauty of Africa.
Well, I could agree with Andrew. The two animals on this vehicle are very skittish because of the wind. We have a fairly breezy morning this side as well.
Very good morning. My name is Kyle. Welcome to Tswalu Kalahari. Behind camera is David. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are stopped on this access road for a very special little something. We're going to take a look in that bush over there. We have got something in the middle that we're going to see sitting and keeping something warm. Let's see if we can just pick it up now. We have returned to the little Kalahari scrub robber nest, and we had it sitting on... oh, my finger's huge. In the middle of the frame, David has got a perfect picture there for us. You'd see a little black mark, that's the tail of the bird. Then it goes a rusty red, that's the rest of the tail. And then the little white lining is actually its eyebrow with its beak. It's sitting on the nest right now. And how fantastic to get a view like that. So it is a little bit chilly right now. It's only about 15 degrees Celsius, which is about 59 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is chilly. So obviously incubating and keeping those eggs nice and toasty is a very important task right now. But that is a first for me. Seeing a little Kalahari scrub robin incubate the eggs. And we should be coming very close to the period of these little ones hatching. You can see the wind pushing the camera around, and you can see the branches moving. It's quite a strong breeze, and as you saw in the opening segment, we've actually got some clouds today. So incubation is done mainly by the female. Quite a lot of the incubation is done by the female, let me put it that. And obviously this would be a part of a pair. So male and female obviously joining up for the breeding season, where they would have created this beautiful little cup-like bowl within a thorny bush, just like this over here. This is typical in where they would create a nest. And then about half a meter up from the ground, I've read up to about a meter, they can actually create a nest. They do have strong preference, obviously where they have been successful, that's where a bird will then, there it's moving. Oh, there it flies. Wow. Claude, yes, that preferred height is a height that they know where it is obviously safe. It can go up to about a meter and a half, but that's a perfect spot for that little nest. And you'll find that within that thorny shrub, especially now after a bit of rain, the foliage that will now grow from that bush would totally conceal that nest. But what a fantastic spot, and what a great sight. It's calling here on our left now. But yeah, it's a perfect spot for that little bird to create that nest. Obviously different species have different preferences on where and how they would build. Giving a little territorial call. They are territorial, so these little early morning songs are very important to notify to everybody that you are currently occupying this area. Alright, we're going to send you off to another safari vehicle, and we're going to see you in a bit.
Very interesting with that Kalahari scrub. Over here at Ngala this morning, we got a pair of saddle-billed storks. Two incredibly beautiful birds. The sun is shining. The wind is blowing a little bit. They're moving through this open, marshy kind of area, looking for all kinds of food what they can find. But good morning and welcome to Ngala. I'm Dan. Behind the camera we've got Odie this morning, and it's a pleasure to meet you. The wind is blowing a little bit this morning, keeping us a bit cooler. Yesterday was incredibly hot. And we're going to spend some time with these saddle-billed storks as they move through this open area, looking for all sorts of frogs and anything that they can find to eat. So you see there's two of them there. There'll be a pair, mating pair with a male and a female. Now, they have moved away from us slightly. I think the one on the left-hand side was the female. You see how they're not moving away from each other too much? They'll almost spend all their time together. In the morning now, starting to feed all the way through the day and into the evening as well. You see how they just keep putting their heads down, pick up something. It's difficult to see exactly what it is from here. But you see how they go in the ground, then they throw their head up. Let's see if this one's going to do it. Oh, head up, gobble, gobble, straight down. The colors on those beaks are quite interesting. I mean, the yellow saddle right at the top, the red and the black in the middle, and then, of course, the black and the white contrasting on the body. They're pretty big birds as well. I mean, you can see compared to the trees in the background, they're standing very tall. Some big trees in this open area standing out incredibly. What a beautiful scene as well. So with all the rain that we had about 2 weeks ago, this area, this open area that's cleared, you can see Lisa, you did right. They do have amazing beaks, and I mean, you can see just how big they are. We've spoken about the colors, but you see how big they are when they go into the ground nice and open. And because of the rain that we had recently, this ground is soft. And in the evenings, you'll hear all sorts of frogs calling through here. And with such big, strong beaks, it makes it easy to just put it in the ground, get something out of there. It's quite amazing to see them spending all their time together. And you see when this one moves to the left, I'm sure it won't be long before the one on the right follows, trying to cover as much ground as they possibly can in this open area, trying to find everything that they can before something else does. It's amazing now that the one that Odie's currently on, when it turns, you've almost got just that black at the back, but there's quite a lot of white in the front as well. So storks, Justin, I think it was, storks mate very similar to lots of other birds. The one will actually climb on top of the other from behind. It's quite an intimate process, but it doesn't last a very long time. You'll see after these two have mated, their young one looks completely different to them. It's quite a dull grey compared to this beautiful black, white, red, and yellow. See that one on the right is kind of just watching its partner. I don't know if it's getting a bit jealous as to the fact whether it's finding food and it's not. That yellow really does stand out, doesn't it? Right in front of its face. And you'll see one of the ways to actually tell the difference between male and female. It's a bit tricky from this distance. And even, I mean, Odie's pretty well zoomed up on there. This one looks like it's got a dark eye. And it's quite interesting. Normally the males in birds have got the more coloration, but the female has in fact got a yellow eye. So just judging from that, the one that we're currently looking at looks like it's the male, following the female, as often is the case. Down here in South Africa as well, these are quite a special bird to see. As you go a little bit further north, you'll see them a little bit more frequently. But here in the Kruger Park, there's not many breeding pairs of these birds left, and we don't see them all. Oh, did you see that one? You see how it was just walking, something got its attention, quickly turned around and grabbed it. See how they walk a couple of steps as well? Stop, have a look. Any kind of movement catches their attention, they stop, make sure it's something that they can eat, and quickly make their way over there to grab it. So I'm gonna spend a bit more time with these two birds this morning, seeing what else they catch. But as the sun starts to come up, I'm gonna keep going and try and see if we can find some bigger things as well.
Wow, catch of the day. How incredible that must have been. Well, just as we're going past here, we just want to show you folks a better view. She obviously has left the nest, so there's no way I'm disturbing the area. It's typical of her behavior now to go off the nest, do a bit of foraging, and then come back here a little bit later. But that central section where you can see there's a bit of grass and it's all like tied up nice and neatly, that is actually physically the nest. And that lighter patch in the middle, that's the depression where the eggs are actually sitting in, which is quite incredible. So half a meter up to about 1.5 is typically where these birds would create nests. And if you think about the foliage and the structure of the low end of these bushes, they create a perfect area for concealment. Obviously, concealment when it comes to nests is a very important thing, and birds in Africa are very good at it. If you think about all the predators, snakes, reptiles, mammals, they have to be very sneaky in order to successfully rear chicks. So female, we're doing a lot of the incubation over here. There you go, there's the core, so that's more than likely a little territorial core there. But we are coming very close to the period. I'd say in the next 3 or 4 days we might have something here. And when this little chick emerges from this egg, it'll use this special little keratin part on the front of its beak called an egg tooth to break through this beautiful little white and speckled egg. And when it does, it's totally helpless. And that's why this nest has been created. And then obviously the provisioning from parents is very important for this little one to develop. So being bound to the nest, it'll be naked. The first few days the eyes will be closed. It can't walk. It is totally bound to this nest and needs the parents for every last little bit of reserves. And then obviously it will be in a stage which we call the nesting stage, nestling, and develop until it's obviously a fledgling. That's when it leaves the nest. So hopefully we can be part of this beautiful process. Just like I've said, this is an absolute first for me, finding a nest from a Kalahari scrub robin, and then as well as seeing it on the nest, which was such a treat to see. So from here we're also going to go look at another nest. We're going to go do an update on that beautiful ostrich nest that we found a couple of weeks ago, see what's going on there. Hopefully we have little ostrich running around, which would be really amazing. We'll see you shortly. We're going to send you off to another safari vehicle.
Welcome back to South Africa, everybody. Let's do a little bit of birding this morning. It's very nice for me. This is the first namakwa dove that I've seen in Juma. A very long tail. You see that red face onto the neck? Namakwa doves are regarded as quite arid sort of birds. So I, be honest with you, this is the first one I've seen on Juma. And walking around on the floor, looking for seeds. As with all doves, they've got a sort of a polarized lens on their eye, which means that they can discern the difference between seeds and stones. Stones obviously reflect like a crystal would, whereas the seeds have got a very different reflection. Oh, and there he goes. How cool was that? Now, apparently they're quite common. I asked Rex on the radio, what about the manakwa? They are, it's very common. I'm like, okay, first one in 3 years here at Juma. I've seen many in my life, but first one on this property. Okay, everyone, well, we've been missioning around. We've checked the entire boundary, well, the western side and most of the south. We're now in the area where Tswalu herself was last night, so we're just going to slowly make our way down here a little bit more towards, see, there's her tracks from last night. She headed towards, I can tell it's from last night because the wind has been blowing, and the wind really changes the coloration of the soil and the sharpness of the tracks. So when the leopard track is a little bit older, even if there's been wind 10 minutes before, it will have changed the edges, and the angle of that track will look quite different. So we left her cub down that side. There's a namakwa dove again in the road. He's busy munching away. Let me know, everybody, if this is a new bird on your list. I'm sure they've been recorded here before, as Rex says are quite common, but I've seen a few in the northern Kruger and very arid sort of areas of those places. Brenda, you want to know how many dove species we have? Well, we've got the namakwa, the laughing dove, the turtle dove or the ringneck dove, the mourning dove, which is not very common here, red-eyed as well is not very common here, and the emerald spotted wood dove. So there's 6 off the top of my head. Did I say namakwa? Namakwa, emerald spotted wood dove, laughing, mourning, red-eyed, and Cape turtle. The mourning and the red-eyed dove is not very common here, but in places that I've worked, the red-eyed dove is extremely, overwhelmingly common. There must obviously be slight differences in habitat preference. Here I find laughing dove and turtle dove very abundant, as well as the wood dove. My first Namakwa. Save a lot of energy walking around on the floor like that. You see how long their tail is. When they fly, it's quite easy to identify them by that very long tail. Oh, woodstock, I'm happy to hear that's a new bird for you. Those of you who are listening or watching maybe for the first time, wondering, what are you talking about? List. We have many people that keep a virtual list of the birds. We show them on the show. And since the incorporation of all the other properties, I'm sure that list has grown substantially. People travel all over the world to watch birds. It's a very fast-growing sport, a very passive hobby. Brings in a lot of tourism, lots of equipment required, but all you really need is a good pair of binoculars and a bird book or an app. Enthusiasm, excitement for the outdoors, lots of walking, lots of activities to find perfect habitats to increase your birding list.
Well, here we are, and we just wanted to show you the amount of water that from the rain we received yesterday. Look at this, how much water. It was the rain almost the whole night. And here I have a yellow beanstalk. Looks like an immature young one, but already he's learned his trade. We cannot see the legs and the beak, but definitely he is hunting for breakfast. Eventually that beak will be so yellow and he'll be so white, a bit of black. Yes, it will be a beautiful, beautiful stock. Yeah, we received a lot of rain, and where I'm in the marsh, and I'm surrounded by beautiful things. Apart from the stock, we have water. We have, what else can we show you? Okay. Look at the scene. It's just magnific. Look at the sunrise. The sun is still hidden somewhere there. And here we have one massive bull elephant. I think he is one of the biggest ones in the Masai Mara. He's eating what they are known for, elephant grass. This is grass that is so tough. We use it for thatching houses, traditional houses out there in the village. And only elephant and buffalo can eat it. It is so tough. It is like a wire brush. Yeah, elephants have got very wide molars, and they're able to grind it. And because it takes a long time for it to go through the tummy, it is well utilized. Well, this bull, I would say he's over, 45, 50. He is big. Unfortunately, he's not facing us, but you can tell by the size of the ears, the size of the body. Yes, and also the tusk. He's one big boy. These guys, they can weigh up to 6 tons. That is about 5 of my Land Rovers. So actually, if this Land Rover was put on his back, he would carry it like how you push a shopping basket, It could be very... Puma Jumbo, thank you for your beautiful comment. That is a real tusker. Indeed, it is a beautiful tusker. And you can tell how he's using his tusk and trunk to pull out the elephant grass. Just have a look. He coils the grass around his trunk, and then using the tusk, he pivots it and pulls it up. Just have a look at this. Coiling, tusk, hold, pull. Yes, that's how he's using the tusk. And I think, he is one lucky big bull. He's got very long tusks. He doesn't need to kneel down. You might think that an elephant head is very heavy, but it is not. If you see an elephant skull, it looks like a honeycomb. It's very open on the inside, so it's not heavy. Over there, I would say the trunk and the tusks are much heavier than the actual skull. But the cavity that protects the brain is actually very solid, and it's very inside, so it is very, very well protected. I have our saddle bill stock very close to us, and we can show you how he is hunting. Not very patient of a stock. He's going very fast. Usually they hunt with their beaks open, and Stonesy Jumbo. These stalks are about 4 feet, 5 feet, in between that. So it's a meter and almost just above a meter. So they can be very, very tall. And their legs are almost a foot and above, so they can easily wade in the water. Like you see, that water is quite deep. But with the legs, he's able to wade easily, hoping to catch a frog or a fish that has been washed downstream. It's actually very tough, fishing in this kind of waters. You don't know when you'll catch something. I would say he looks like an inexperienced, because experienced one will go to more stagnant water where there's a chance that the fish are not running away. But here, most of them would be moving from one spot to the other if the water is flowing that way. He's going to disappear quite soon. Yeah, I'm gonna, move on, see what else we can find. Because it's an early morning, I want to utilize it fully. See what else I can find. I know that with all the rains, all the cats are out on top of termite mines, on logs, and so that's what I'm hoping to. I'm at the marsh, and here the River Pride is here with all their cubs, so I'm looking, and I'm hoping to see if I can find them. Okay, let's me move on, see what we can find.
Welcome back to this side of the Mara, where we come across one of the Mogoro lionesses. She is looking lazy, a little bit sleepy, but something has caught our attention. There's some Impalas grazing over in the distance. One of the lioness from this pride has walked over to the bushes, but she seems like she's just happily sleeping there because it's a little bit chilly from yesterday's rain. It rained lots and lots and lots. So everywhere it's covered with water. We have muddy roads here. You can see over in the distance how it rained. Some water puddles along the path. And there's some Impalas grazing there. Seems like a big harem there. They've not seen the lion. So lions sometimes will be opportunistic. They will come over for something like this. But they always prefer larger or bigger prey. Oh, she's quite lazy this morning. And I'm sure as soon as it starts warming up, that's when they'll begin getting busy and active. It's a little bit warm there. That's why she's crouching on the ground, laying her head just on her front paws. Mark, thank you for your question. I'll say it's a preferred weather because it's cool, so they use less energy as they are hunting. So I would say this is a very nice weather for them to be hunting at the moment. But lions will be opportunistic. Sometimes during the day, you'll see them hunting. They get closer to maybe a waterhole or any advantage that comes to their way. But at the cooler parts of the night, from dusk to dawn, that is when they prefer hunting. And at times like this, when it's a little bit cool. So yes, it's a preferred weather for lions to be hunting. So the rest of the pride is somewhere around here. And there's a teenage lion that was amongst them. And I'm not sure where he went to. So I'll try and find him, see if they want to go on a hunt or maybe they want to take us somewhere else. So as they're going to leave this land to find something else, as I take you over to another live location.
From lions to lions, we've managed to find this young female lion from the Birmingham Pride, Lioness, and she's got her head deep in the bush at the moment. But if you have a look to her right, there's a little baby there, a little cub. And if wait, just on the horizon, can you see the second one starting to appear? Just the tip of her tail. That's a little black mark that those cubs will look out for. How's that little one popping over the... Oh, very inquisitive, just watching us. It is early in the morning as well, so they're still super playful, nice and cool. I wonder what mom's doing in there. You'll see that the tail may often flick once or twice, which might get the attention of those two little cubs. You'll see, I mean, it's a very important stage in their life. They're about 7 months old. And the two newest recruits in the Birmingham Pride, look at how that little one's stalking down. Oh. Whatever mom's doing has got their attention. I wonder if she might not come back out a bit. It'd be fascinating to know exactly what she's looking at. It could be anything. Maybe something small moved in there and she heard it and that got her attention. Oh, now she's sitting down. I wonder if she isn't maybe seeing something through the bushes. Look at how the little ones are playing. Mom's not having it, so they're going to play with each other. And this playtime is an incredibly important part. Practicing, learning, fighting with one another. All incredibly important skills that they're going to need for the rest of their lives if they are to survive. Now this female, she's quite a young female. She's about 4 years old, maybe just over. And this is her first litter of cubs. And often first-time mothers out here don't do so well in terms of a success rate. But she only gave birth to 2 cubs, and both of them are still alive and doing incredibly well. She has in fact introduced them to the rest of the pride, but at an age like this they can be a little bit more vulnerable, particularly with older cubs around. And mom is still in the process of weaning them and suckling them. So if she were to go back to the pride, you'll often find these smaller little cubs being bullied off or pushed off of the mother's teats and the mother's milk. So this is actually not far away from where she gave birth to them. She actually denned here in the riverbed in a very similar area to where she's hiding now. And if you have a look at those bushes and those trees, it's a really good place to hide cubs. So she will spend lots of time hiding them, even at this time, because they're too small to hunt and to accompany her on hunts. she'll put them right into a thick bush for even a couple of days at a time, while she goes out and has to hunt and feed. They are eating meat, however, but still suckling. They should be weaned completely at around 10 months, maybe towards a year. However, if she's spending time with the rest of the pride and the other cubs are all suckling and encouraging her to produce milk, she will continue to produce milk for a longer period of time. The cubs would love to suckle for as long as they can. Protein-rich milk, getting them to grow nice and big and strong. I mean, look how they're looking for any source of entertainment. Even the branch of a tree is providing entertainment. And stalking up behind mom. Oh, a little scratch and a bite. Looks like it's eating a branch, not because it's food, but simply because it's there. Oh. Flop down again. Down under, thanks for your question. When will the cubs join in on a hunt? So you'll see as they start to get older, mom will start moving around more and encouraging them to follow her. And you'll see when mom kicks into a hunting gear, and you'll see it even with these cubs now. They'll put their ears down and that'll kind of go into a stalk mode, and they'll like lie flat in the grass and try and use as much camouflage as they can to try and get as close as they can before they actually go on their hunt. When mom's walking around and she gets close to an opportunity that she thinks might be right, she will do that. She'll almost give a signal to the cubs to say, you lie there and you don't move. And they'll watch from a distance. And that could be in the next couple of months, just watching from a distance, watching mom and how she does it. And they learn from mom. So it's a very important part. And you'll see as they start to get older as well, they will actually be a hindrance in hunt, and they will blow a lot of hunts for mom, and that might be at around 1.5 to 2 years old when they start really accompany hunts, and the size of them will be benefiting mom and trying to bring down bigger prey. But they'll only really be real successful hunters maybe around 3 or 4 years old. So let's see, they have moved right onto the other side of the bank. I'm wondering if we shouldn't try and pop round onto the other side. I'm really hoping they don't. I was hoping with the sun in the sand on this side that they were going to come. There's quite a lot of wind blowing in the riverbed here. It's quite chilly, actually. Huge relief compared to yesterday. It looks like mom's moved around there. I wonder if we shouldn't pop around onto the other side. Let's try and see if we can get a better view from the other side. See how that little one's ears popped up? I don't know if you did. As soon as the vehicle stopped... Oh, let's see if they come back. Of course. Okay, well, that's made our mind up. I think let's spend a little bit more time here. See how both those cubs... The noise of me starting the vehicle... The noise of the vehicle got their attention. They looked up and watched me. Now watch, mom's going to come down here. So good thing we didn't go onto the other side. Oh. Yo, bro.
Yes, here we are, and it's a beautiful sight that I have here. We just came across these, two lionesses. Looks like there are more of them. We're going to show them to you. They're there. Yeah. And these are part of the River Pride. They're both lionesses. Looks like they ate well. And something interesting is going to happen because there is a buffalo. Let's stick to the lioness maybe. Bungay will decide. He is the cameraman. And there is a buffalo that is not very happy about the presence of these two lionesses. And usually he does try to ascertain authority in cases like this. But this might go very, very wrong if he is all alone, because I think and suspect that we have more than two lionesses. I don't know if he's gonna, gather enough courage to get down there and try and, be authoritative. But let's see. But he looks like one mean buffalo, and he might go down. I don't know. Cape buffalo, remember, do kill lions. They don't go down easy. They're very tough, they're very strong, and they have an anger, that I respect. They can charge without warning. They have amazing eyesight, hearing, and smell. I don't know if this guy is gonna go or not, but he definitely does see those two lionesses. He's thinking twice. I would do the same if I was alone, because also these two lionesses, you can tell, they're almost, I think, mocking him. What can you do? Are you man enough? Are you gonna come down? They're just seated very casually, like they don't even recognize he's there. Yeah, these are our, River Pride lionesses, and I have been coming here Megan Jumbo, buffaloes have got a natural grudge against lions. Thank you for that phrase. It is so. They don't like lions naturally. And because lions do kill them, especially when all animals are gone, they will go for buffaloes. And so it is like a natural enmity from eternal. I think they don't like each other, and looks like the case here. There is a standoff. I don't think this guy is gonna go back without really, giving them a little bit of a warning. Right now is just a standoff. If he was joined by another, I don't see any other. If he is joined by another, then definitely it will happen. I only see him, but there's quite some brothers quite a long way. We cannot share them with you. They're quite a long way. But I don't know if he's going to go down. He can definitely really see them. I don't think he can smell them because there's no wind, but he can see them. The Cape buffalo is one of our largest grazers here in the Mara, weighing up to 900 kilos. And he is part of a bachelor herd. Bachelor herd, I mean, they may reach maturity at the age of about 6, 7. That's when they really are big, intimidating, too big, and slow. So they decide to, find a spot where they can relax and, retire. Yeah, he's the king of the castle now. He has decided to stand on top of that termite mound, and he looks quite cool. Well, I'll stick with him for a little bit. And yeah, let's see what's happening in another live location.
Welcome back to Juma, and good luck, Isaac, with your buffalo and lions. We found some tracks of a couple of leopards, everybody. Here you can see there's the front foot over here, and there's the back foot. This is the young male leopard, and he walked across the road. There's his tracks there as well, and he defecated. So here, the front feet, they stood there, the back feet stood over there, and he had a poo. How marvelous. I think it's quite amazing. But over here is the tracks of a second leopard. It's coming in. Wow, that's quite smelly. That's quite smelly right over here. And the second leopard over here, this is a female, much more elegant. So now we've got 2 leopards walking. 1 and 2. So it appears as if it's the cubs, but it might be Sibuya's boy with Sibuya herself. Definitely 2. And they walked here, kept walking, 2 of them, and they're heading towards Chitwa Dam. So, little story in the sand, very fresh. You can actually see how shiny. If I show you over here again, see how shiny this is over here. It's very shiny because the wind hasn't blown it yet. If you find any of the other tracks, they've sort of wind blown. They're very, very rough. Lots of edges, lots of shine to it. Means that was recently. So let's go see if we can track down these cats. What do you reckon, Theo? Theo's excited. Hey, we go to Chitwa anyway. Go have ourselves a little coffee. Why not? It's a wonderful day to be out in the sunshine and to track down some spotted cats.
Steve, I wish you well and good luck. I hope you do manage to find those leopards. So he's still here with this little cub coming to say hello once again. Right into the sun. How's that lighting? Super inquisitive, walking right towards us, down the bank. Being super playful, they might pick up sticks. Oh, there we go. Elephant dung. And you'll see if it does find something exciting. Oh, this looks like the young female. That's walking right towards us. Oh, exhausting. It'll be interesting to see if her brother, he's not coming down just yet, but I wonder if he's going to get a little bit jealous of her sitting in the sun like that, out on her own, being so confident and brave. Oh, up again. And even closer she comes. See how she got there, kind of had a look at me, turned around to see if Mom was watching, and yes, she certainly was. She's always got that eye, keeping a lookout for danger. Oh. Because her brother's not going to come to her, she's going to go all the way up to the top and tackle him and take him down. And how's Mom, hey? Super proud, but an ever watchful eye. She's also got a really good vantage point from the top there. And if you remember earlier, remember Mom going into that little gap there? I wonder if the little cubs are going to go and investigate the same thing that Mom was investigating earlier. Maybe it was a smell. Maybe it's a shelter from the wind. You see Mom's face change there. I wonder if she maybe didn't see something or hear something, just poked her ears forward, watching. Doesn't she just look so majestic at the top there? Front paws out in front. I can't see anything that she's looking at. Her eyesight's far greater than mine. I wonder if she hasn't seen some movement maybe on the opposite bank.
very happy to have her kids, or her cubs rather, playing around, even if it's with trees, sometimes her, each other. Just see the odd little tail flicking around in the background there. What a proud mom. R.R. Moore, I couldn't agree more. What a magnificent image. And doesn't she look, as I've already said, majestic and super proud, sitting right at the top of the hill here, just watching. And she's watching right at us. I mean, not that she's worried about us, but I couldn't agree more. What a beautiful image. And although she looks pretty calm up there, let me tell you, she's watching, listening, smelling for any sorts of danger to her little cubs, but also for any sorts of opportunity to hunt. They haven't moved too far from where they were yesterday afternoon. And because lions are such opportunists and opportunistic hunters, if a chance presented itself, particularly on a windy day like this lioness might try and take advantage of the conditions which might be dulling the other animals' senses, such as their sense of smell when the wind isn't blowing always consistently, and their sense of hearing as well. You can't hear nearly as well in the wind. Let's see. You see that kind of shuffle and that re-movement and her head poking up like that? Trying to get a different view of something that she might have seen. It is in quite an open riverbed. I mean, it would be very tricky for her to make a hunt right from where she is. But if something clumsily stumbled across here or walked behind the bush that she's sitting, she would definitely take the opportunity. And that would be a great opportunity for these little cubs to learn and watch more. Oh. See how those ears are also moving, listening to something that might have come up behind her, also keeping a good ear out on her little cubs that are behind her. I know they're right behind her, but she needs to make sure that nothing is coming up too close. How's the lighting coming through those branches onto her face and onto her legs, and how those front shoulders and that neck, incredibly big and incredibly strong. She is a big and strong lioness as well. I don't know if you can see the color on her nose as well. Almost got that little pinkish tinge. She got almost no scars on her face as well. Her ears as well are in perfect condition. As I mentioned earlier, she's a youngish lioness, about 4.5 years old. Karen, thanks for your question. Do all cats kill their prey in the same manner? And no, the answer is no. I think every situation is so different, and depending on the situation will determine how the cats kill their prey. Often lions, when it comes to killing buffalo, can take a long time, and they'll often try and start at the back and bring the buffalo down. And sometimes they'll also do that, and a few members of the pride will go to the front of the buffalo and try and almost suffocate it around its nose. However, sometimes they'll avoid the front of the buffalo completely. They'll try and avoid, that's where the horns and where the dangerous part is. And everything out here is a balance between risk and reward. And by risking going to the front of the buffalo and putting yourself in danger, you're risking an injury, which out here, an injury is almost certain death, depending on the extent of it, of course. Leopards, they also hunt slightly differently. They try and keep it as quiet as they possibly can, going for the throat of often an Impala or a duiker as quickly as they can and try and kill the animal as quickly as they can, because that noise of an animal dying attracts all sorts of other animals. If this lioness that we're sitting with here heard potentially a distress call or an Impala dying on the other side of the bank, she'll be up very quickly. And if it is a leopard killing it, she will be there and she will go and steal that carcass from a leopard. lioness being much bigger than a leopard will be able to overpower it, and the leopard's not going to really want to mess with this lioness. Once again, balance between risk and reward. The leopard letting go and losing its kill to give to the lioness.
Well, yes, the marsh never, cease to amaze. And more lions over here. It looks like 2 lionesses and 2 young lions. You can see how much water we have. It's already drizzling. Quite unusual to get rain in the morning. But these girls are not leaving their territory. The buffalo came and asserted his authority a little bit and then left. And now the girls are left there contemplating, I think, what will be the next move. This, rise of water, if it persists, they will have to show us the cubs. Yes, they're hiding somewhere around this area. They will have to pull them out because it is getting very, very wet everywhere. And I don't think they want them to drown. Definitely where they are, they must be very well hidden, very well concealed and warm. That's why, they haven't brought them out. And I can tell that they are not leaving this spot because they know the cubs are right there. This is the River Pride. And at the moment, they stand at around, 10. If the cubs come out, they are 7, so there will be around 17 in total. We've seen different males coming in and out of this area, but these cubs were sired by one of the males. I don't know which one because I didn't see, but different males have been coming here, like Lalashe.
You are with us. I'm not really getting very good communication. I think you're with us, and Theo's just spotted something. Theo, can you see what you're seeing? Tell me where to look.
They came in here.
Next to the tree that's falling down.
To the right or left?
I think we won't see it from here.
Yes, I am very aware, Jared. We are having a look at something in the bushes that Theo spotted. So we're just trying to see if we can see it. Maybe you can frame it, Theo, if you can see it. Obviously, you've lost the Mara. We apologize for that. Forward. We are on the tracks of the cubs, or mum and a cub. I'm not sure. It's very hard to tell the difference between the adults and the cubs at this stage. They're right there. They're coming. They're sort of headed down towards the dam. Looks like a termite mound, hey? So right there, these things. Very important when you see something that stands out a little bit to your eyes. You must always check it out. It could be the leopard we're looking for. Something that looks a little bit different. Okay, we're just going to keep going down here. The tracks are coming down towards the dam and they cut into this block. So if they don't come out of this block here, then they're in there. There's some impalas behaving a little bit jumpily, but in this weather that's quite understandable. They weren't alarm calling. Just some males chasing each other around. But those tracks were very... It's possible they came and drank and then moved off again. So just take it nice and slowly. Going down to a little spot here called Nyala Dip or Nyala Crossing drainage. I'm not sure, but we're on Chitwa at the moment. Just do another little loop before we go and have ourselves a coffee. Now remember to have a look at trees as well.
Steve, I know leopards can often be tricky to track and find, but these two little ones are just watching us. See their heads popping over every now and then, ears just like Mom's, always listening. And Mom has just snuck off into that bush again. I think it's to get cover from the wind. But the little ones have just fallen into her place and doing almost exactly what she's doing, or was doing. Just keeping a good lookout. And that's exactly what they'll do. They'll watch and learn from Mom. There was a vulture that flew over earlier, and that got these two cubs' attention. They watched it, and you'll see vultures will fly over, and they will actually have a look at lions, and they know that when lions are there, often food is around. So they'll come and investigate, and the vultures flew over for a while, had a good look around, but no food here for the vultures, unfortunately, this morning. Unfortunately for the little cubs as well. Just want them to come back down into the sun. The sun has poked up behind the clouds again. It's amazing to be able to spend so much quality time with two young lions like this, particularly in an open area. I mean, if they were with Mom and just in that thick bush, you wouldn't be able to see anything at all. You can just see those black tips to those ears. Remember, I don't know if you remember Mom's tail, also having that black tip. Those are signs that stand out in the bush. I mean, you see it at the back of the ears so that when they're walking, the ones behind them can see and follow. And when they put their ears down, those black tips will disappear, and they'll very likely blend into what's around them, giving them the advantage and being super camouflaged, allowing them to get close to prey. You see, when both of them face the other way, those black spots behind the ears stand out incredibly, even in the shadow there. I wonder if something didn't walk past the other side, getting their attention. If it was something bigger, maybe an Impala or a Kudu. I mean, there are often Kudus feeding on the banks of this riverbed. I think Mom would have been a bit more excited and poked up. Could be a bird, maybe a small francolin or a spurfowl. Maybe they're just lining up their next piece of elephant dung or stick to go and play with. See, any noise gets their attention. Oh, those little faces.
Beautiful back here at Juma. It's small group of Kudu in this area. Our location is a Gari cut line, eastern side of a Gari dam at the moment. So it's quite a windy picking up already. That's why these animals, especially with the kudu, they don't mind spending a lot of time in a covered places, because this is also, it's one of their favorite place to be, where they are browsing. A lot of time you see them feeding. They're feeding in these bushes. And they form groups sometimes, especially females. They group up to about maybe 10 individual group. And then males, they are also, sometimes you find them, they are separate. They move around as a bunch of males. For sure, they are not highly territorial animal. These and nyalas, they are not. You find the males all group up separately, females separately. But they're well beautiful with such massive ears. When you look at them now, the wind as it's picking up, these ears work, do their job, kind of switch them back, forth, down, just able to keep their Sisa, good morning. Welcome to a beautiful show this morning. You want to know how far the kudu can hear? Well, depending on the day, most animal, their hearing is great. But when it comes to where there is a lot of wind and there seems to be much disturbed by a lot of vegetation that shake by the wind. So, but if it's deadly quiet, of course, they're hearing just like most of us. So hearing is clearly 100% on most animals than even seen. But these typically animals, as you can see with these big ears, and they're meant to be in a thicket all the time permanently, not to come out to the open when they want to, just because they rely on hearing most. Sight, hearing, sense of smell, that's a key. So they can hear better kudu. So which means any sound come from far, 100 yards, or even sensitively, something that touch grasses, if it's deadly quiet, no wind, they will be able to pick that up. So they're good on hearing. When you look at them, I know they're vanishing now through the bush, but we're able to talk about little hump they have, where males and female have a hump slightly just before the neck. And they have a tall neck for them to be able to reach the branches. And this is how they manage to feed, reach the top branches. Also, they have a beautiful prehensile tongue, which is able to help the lip able to take off the branch or the leaf from the branches. And sometimes you see them feed on a very nutritious twigs, which is where during the winter they also have to find their feeding. And for them to be able to carry on during the day, they have to focus on moving a lot. So I'm going to send you to another guide who will be showing you more beauty of the wild African bush.
Well, we're still here, same position, and it looks like our lions have tucked themselves, in. They don't love rain, but there's nothing they can do. They just have to sit there and hope it passes. Sooner than later, it is the norm. A very good time to do hunting, but these guys are not interested. The rain does mask all the smells, and so usually it's best time to go hunting, but it looks like these girls and boys are not interested in leaving that spot. I wonder if it's dry enough for them down there. I wonder, I don't know. Maybe it is. What did you see, girl? Remember, though, they are, sleeping and resting there, all their senses are still wide awake, and they are listening, they are smelling, and if something was to, walk by, they'll sprint into action without hesitation. Pride like this, already here there are about 6. We can't see all of them, and we can show you. I see 4, but I saw 2 other that, actually the ones that were having a standoff with buffalo, we cannot see them. They are already, a power to reckon. They can actually hunt down a buffalo. So if they decide, they can go down for one. These gulls, or this river territory, stretches from where we are up to the river, which is almost 2 kilometers to my left, or where the vehicle is pointing in front, and another 1 kilometer up, and follows the river all the way to a place called Dirisha. Stretches, that way. Stretches that way, a place called Dirisha, and then all that is the prime estate, all that area. So it is a very, huge area full of game, and you would want to be here. It is drizzling, as you can see. This is our short range. In case you didn't know, in Kenya, we don't have those many seasons like other countries have. Here, we have very unique and beautiful seasons. 2 seasons are wet and dry. And when it's wet, it is wet. We get a lot of rain almost every afternoon. Until today, we are getting it in the morning. And then, it rains almost up to midnight every night for about 3 weeks. And then it gives us enough, time to do something in the morning. Those are the months of October, November. Those are the short rains. And then the long rains starts end of March, goes to April, May, June. And my friend, that is a time you don't want to be here in the Masai Mara. Yes, the grass grows up to around 4 feet. The trucks that the guides use disappear because there's nobody, to drive around, especially the area I am in. And so those are 2 rainy seasons. The dry season is in between that, from June, July, August, September is our dry season, and also December, January, February. Those 2 are our seasons, wet and dry. Let's see what's happening somewhere else.
Good morning, everyone. It is Juma from Hyena Private Game Reserve. Right behind the camera, I have Rat, and we have lovely Lioness. She's just lying flat at the moment. Looks like she's been heavily walking overnight. She's trying to hunt, but she have quite a nice big belly. Not quite sure if she had something like yesterday, probably. Yeah, I'll say maybe yesterday, because it doesn't look like any blood on her. I know she was around yesterday with her sister, but not. But as you can see here, if you look at grass, it's quite wet. It's been raining like overnight, but not so much rain. And also she's just warming up herself. That's why she's falling asleep now. She was up for maybe 3 minutes ago. She was up and looking around. I think she feel more comfortable having us around her. But this is a good area as well. a lot of like warthogs and stuff like Impala. Sometimes they come around. Yeah, she's in a good area. As you can see, it's nice and green into this area where she is now, which is lovely to see. Just enjoying herself, lying down like that, which is always anything can happen. Like water can move her along, and she can change completely what you actually seeing, what she does. That's what I like with the lion. It's nothing gonna happen. Suddenly something, and then you start seeing some action. Yeah, it would be nice to see a sister, and I know far back, but you won't be able to see it. There was some Impala there. Maybe the Impala, they already know she's around. Yeah, if you take a look down here, this is a good area. Nice rock area. As you can see, she's just lying down because they can sleep quite a long time, and we'll just hang around and see what's going to happen if something comes along.
Welcome back to the Mara, and this time around we have a mixed herd of wildebeest, eland, zebra, and buffaloes. This is a very good place where they can all team up for security. They each give heightened awareness in case the predators will come this way. Look at the eland, they look so much relaxed. They've picked a very good spot where they are actually in the midst of the wildebeest. Again, some few zebra. Because of the rain, so all the animals have gathered in the plains where there's lots of grass, there's lots of water. And because the grass is moist, where they contain most water, then they can all happily enjoy grazing without even going to drink. You can see some few zebras there. Black-headed heron, actually on a hunt, looking for maybe searching for snake or rodents. As far as my eyes can see, that is all wildebeest extending way over in those trees. Beautiful, beautiful. From where I saw the herds yesterday, they've moved to these plains. And because of the rain, they keep on walking from place to place in search of good pasture. And the fresh shoots of grass that pop up, they get to enjoy that. And that's the reason why they've hung around here for this long, because of the rains. Normally we'll see them off maybe beginning of October or just the first week of October. They'll be heading back south to Tanzania. But now we still have these herds, and thanks to the rain, they seem like they're going to stay here for a little while. I don't know what the heron has picked. It seems like Leanne, thank you so much for your question. Are there any lions close to these herds? Not that I've seen of, but you never know. There might be lions hiding somewhere, maybe stalking, because we have long grass, and you never know sometimes, even those bushes. But it seems like nothing is actually around, because zebras have very sharp eyes, eland as well. We have buffaloes to our right who are also aggressive towards predators, so I don't think there might be predators. But if they're predators, predators will always come to follow this kind of herds. So it seems like it's quite relaxed. If there was a predator within, then we'll see these herds a little bit confused, all staring at one direction. But because predators use that element of surprise, they will sneak off toward these herds. There's a big eland there. Look at how gray and dark he is. As older bulls get to age, they change color to be gray. So once that bull was young, he had a little bit tawny color, but as they keep on growing, getting older, they change color. I can see over in the distance some vultures resting. Wow, this is magical. So we've seen a good movement of how these herds keep on circling and walking back and forth in this conservation area. We find some will be heading towards the river and then they come back. And because of the rain, you've seen very interesting behavior. So the elands are very much clever. You see, they've picked to graze in the center or the middle of these herds because they know that the ones that are on the periphery of the herds are the ones that might be taken over by predators. So in that way, they are very much secure. Seems like everyone is relaxed. I'm going just to change position to where we have a big herd of buffalo. You can see they're also relaxed grazing. So they prefer grazing at the cooler times of the day, like in the morning and late afternoon, and sometimes at night. And then during the day when it's hot, they'll take time to rest as they chew on their cud. This is a big breeding herd, and you find that there's some bulls that will always protect and walk with them. There's all those big cows that also become very aggressive when some of these youngsters get too close to the calves. This seems like a good place to hang around because we have buffaloes, zebra, wildebeest, and eland. So I'm going to hang around here for a little while as I take you over to another live location.
Beautiful. Always best idea to spend a lot of time with the animals. See, they're active, they are movement. Here we got this beautiful female elephant. Looks like with her baby, hasn't come out of the bush yet, but it's only the mother that we can see right now. And they do their best. It's still quite beautiful morning for them. The temperatures for the elephants is like this. It's great. That's what they like most. And understand they do sometimes feel colder as we do. And when it's colder, most animals, they more hide. They go down to drainage line where they're not visible from us. See that baby just come out of it. So you found we were following these tracks, and it was more than one. There's quite a few tracks that we were following in there. So you find she's behind the whole herd, that cow. But this is what they do sometimes. You know, one female, single female, she will be left behind or somehow separated from the rest of the group. as the other forage through. But they work on a very good communication system they have. And also sense of smell. She will be able to keep up with the rest of the other group through where they have moved in, to be able to find them again. If there is no response through frequency contact, and she's going to continue, but always put the trunk on the ground, and then this is how they will be able to hook up again with the rest of the other group. So I'm going to keep up with her just to make sure we keep a visual of her. We don't lose her, because it looks like it's quite easy in this little wood to be able to lose animals, even they're so big. But so I'm going to stay put while taking you to another location, to another guide who will show you the beauty of African animals somewhere else.
Well, thanks, Andrew. We're at Chitwa, everybody, where we stopped for a short coffee. The tracks of Sibui and her two cubs have unfortunately gone all the way over to the eastern side of Chitwa and out into another property there called Nets. Oh, can you get this bird? There's a martial eagle at 9 o'clock. That is a cool bird. I wonder if... Ooh, he's gone. Sorry about that, Mr. Theo. I saw him. He might pop out again. We're just looking at some Impala here while we sit at Chitwa, and maybe we might be lucky with some lions. The Nkuhumas have finished their giraffe. That was just south of the boundary, and people are working hard at tracks, and someone's even said that it seems like tracks might even be headed towards Chitwa Dam. So we're just sitting here watching the animals, see how they behave, see if they get upset, and then we might be lucky with some lions. How nice would that be? Often after a big meal, they kill the big male giraffe. Those of you who weren't aware, it's taken them 3 or 4 days to finish it. There's only hyenas on the scene now. After a big meal like that, often cats will move to go and have themselves a nice drink. Now, I don't know what water there is between there and here. Lots of puddles and pans around, I'm sure. A little group of antelope here hiding in a little bit of a shelter from the wind. You can probably hear the wind on the microphone. It's picked up quite a bit this morning. After the warm day yesterday, we'll often get this cool breeze pulling in the next day, which sometimes lead to some weather pulling in. Definitely be some weather somewhere. Daniel, I don't think there's a set number. You know, you can find bachelor herds of Impala, 20, 30 individuals. I can't say I've ever seen one larger than that sort of number. I've never really counted. But you can find, in the breeding season, you'll find the females in groups of hundreds. I remember once in Botswana, I saw a group of female Impala together. There must have been 150, 200 of them. With the bachelors, they don't accumulate in as large numbers. 30, maybe we could push the boundaries of 40, but I honestly don't think that there is a set number. You know, they hang out and they've still got to compete for food, compete with each other. So you definitely get the different grades with regards to age. Different ages of males. There's just a car coming down towards the water as well. Off the left there's some kudu running. Impala, everybody's a bit jumpy in the wind. The leopards definitely walked through there. Where you see all these animals, that's where I had those tracks after last time you came to us. They came straight through that area, so it's obviously a residue of leopard smell is wafting towards these animals, and that's because of the wind, cause them to be mighty jumpy. Pays to be cautious. Megan, you love the heart-shaped noses. Well, we're about to get a vehicle drive straight into the camera, so we're just going to have to reposition the camera quickly. Apologies for that. There we go. You see the little bachelor group. Little heart-shaped noses. They also leave a very heart-shaped track. Waterbuck. Makes it quite easy to differentiate between a wildebeest and a waterbuck by that track. You get these two boys here, Theo. They're having a little bit of a push and shove. Just on the right chat, two male Impala sparring in the shade. Not very evenly matched. One on the left, far smaller, far younger. And he reckons he wants to play with the big boys, practice his technique, getting a few tips from one of his older generation. And here a third one comes in to maybe even the odds. There we go. They're more evenly matched, those two. Pick on someone your own size, he's saying.
Welcome back on board here at Tswalu Kalahari. What a fantastic sighting we have of this beautiful yellow mongoose. I can't believe how close it is. It seems like it's just trying to warm up from the chilly morning that we've had. You can see its position, also how its fur is at the moment, allowing dark roots to absorb the solar radiation. You can see it's just relaxing. Looks a bit snoozy almost. How close we are, it's actually incredible. Wow. So we just before the site of the ostrich nest. And this little chap was busy sunbathing in a little hole, and as we came past we actually disturbed it. So we stopped the vehicle, and it's obviously not bothered by our presence, which is fantastic. You can see the nice horizontal pupil in between the shrubbery there. Beautiful dark orange eyes. And then the most distinguishing factor for this species would be the white tip at the end of the tail, which is not in view right now. Normally you just see these guys in fleeting glimpses, but having it sit like this and for us to get a really good view of it is really nice. They're normally found in pairs. They do form monogamous pairs. Great to hear that, Annette, that this is a first for you. This is one of 3 species that we, abundantly see on Tswalu. It's this species, the yellow mongoose, and then we've got that beautiful, unique-looking species, the slender mongoose with that long tail, dark red in color. And then we've got the Egyptian or water mongoose, which is only seen in a few spots on Tswalu. This is by far the most prominently seen species that we have. And then obviously part of the same family would be your meerkats. So technically 4 within the family group Herpestidae. But what a sight. They are sometimes really shy. They hear you, see you, they are gone. So seeing them like this is it's normal. You can see them in pairs, and also small family groups as well, especially around a burrow system or while foraging. And these guys will mainly be feeding on insects. Obviously with the teeth in order to break down that hard material from the exoskeletons. So that'll be beetles, it'll be termites, it'll be cockroach, anything. I've even seen them eat small rodents at times. But yeah, really nice. Oh. I can't believe he hasn't run away. You can see specifically on his back how the fur is erect. So that fur being erect like that, you're creating a thicker layer between the external environment and your body. Just like the meerkat's also very susceptible to cold conditions. Your body will be working a lot harder and a lot faster to generate heat. So those longer hairs being extended is actually creating like a barrier where the wind is whipping along the top sections of those tips of the hairs instead of getting down in between the fur and then onto the skin. Lightning quick reflexes. I've also got a lot of respect for an animal like this. Sneaky like a mongoose, that's where that saying comes from. Marianne, do they live alone? They form pairs. So typically we can see a male and a female together. So monogamous pairs. But then they can also be found in small family groups, especially within the area where these animals would be denning. And obviously denning would be a shelter that is underground. So this could be a spring hare burrow system, it could be old mongoose burrow system, even an old abandoned aardvark hole can be used by these little animals. So normally seen like this while foraging by themselves, but then can be seen in small family groups, not uncommon. I've read up to about 20 individuals have been recorded in a group. That's obviously when they're a bit more social. It might be at a feeding site that these high numbers are seen. And within this group there is a hierarchy as well. So you'll have an alpha male and female, and then obviously their offspring. It's really amazing sight. Yeah. You can see he's turned the other side now, turned around. And he's almost broadside to the sun, so increasing his surface area to absorb all that nice warmth being generated from the sun. Beautiful animal, wow. See his little ears there just behind his eye. Fairly flat. Well, they're not protruding very far from his body, this one. Oh, he's tired. Obviously being part of this family group, all their senses are fairly well developed, fairly well senses all around. Hearing, sight, and as well as smell, that would be obviously used to locate prey. And how this animal would find prey just by moving in the undergrowth from bush to bush, tree to tree, and looking for any movement. And then with lightning, fast reflexes, pouncing on it and then biting it very quickly. His sharp little teeth would obviously be efficient tools to kill and capture prey. It's almost like he hasn't had his morning coffee yet. Typically die-only active as well. Seen a few every now and then under the cover of darkness, especially when there's full moon about. We're going to send you off to another location and we'll see you shortly. Carl, very interesting with the yellow mongoose. I've never seen one myself either. So we're still with this lioness, and her two cubs are just to her right-hand side or to our left-hand side. As you can see, they flat lying there. Some of the young female, who is quite a lot darker than the young male, is actually starting to be exposed in the sun a bit more, which might encourage her to get up at some point and almost seek a bit of shade. It is starting to warm up. The wind is still keeping us a bit cool. But it's been a playful morning for the two of them, running up and down that steep bank, playing with each other, playing with mom. That's exhausting work. I'm sure a lot of you know children play a lot and they sleep a lot. These lion cubs are not too different. It was quite interesting. Mom did exactly the same. She was lying in the sun, and she got a bit hot, and she got up and moved towards that palm tree and walked along in the shade, and quite interestingly was almost looked as if she was eating grass. And that's not what she does. She doesn't eat grass. However, I think on a morning like this, having not gone very far from last night, maybe she was looking for moisture on the surface of the grass. The grass that was in the shade is very likely to have kept some of its moisture from last night. And maybe that's what she was doing. Sometimes as well, if they have a bit of an upset stomach and they'll eat some grass to almost force themselves to get sick. But that doesn't seem like it's the case this morning. She's going to spend a bit more time over here, keeping a good lookout and an ear out to make sure that her cubs stay as safe as they possibly can.
Well, we have a spotted hyena. I think he's part of the gang we saw very early in the morning because he is in the same, territory. And looks like he's on a mission, heading somewhere fast. Definitely a male. Males usually are not heavy built. Females are much more heavy built in the spotted hyena family. I don't know what he's found. Maybe he's having a drink of water after his night out. Maybe he needs a drink of water. Yeah, they do drink water, hyenas, and also they love water. It's hard to believe, but they're more related to cats than dogs. Hey, look at that. And looks like he's going somewhere. That trot is just like walking fast for him. They never get tired, hyenas. They can go far at the same pace. Yes, here we have the tall one, Masai giraffe. And I think this is one of the big males we see around here. Looks like he's enjoying the road. Yeah, it's very wet everywhere. And hoofed mammals don't love water very much. They don't like staying in the water, especially, giraffes, elands. If they find a place where they can keep their hoofs dry, they will. Because too much water can cause, foot rot. So they avoid that. And if you ever see an animal with foot rot, it is in great pain. A lot of pain, you know. It's like walking on a wound. You know, lots and lots of pain. This guy looks like he's very well fed the whole night, and now he's just chewing his cud and making his rounds. He's coming towards me. I don't know how much closer he's gonna get, but you know, I hope you're enjoying this. Masai giraffe is the ones we get here in the Mara. Yeah, looks like he has decided the roads don't belong to giraffes. He's gonna join the Thompson's gazelle. Yeah, these temperatures that we have at the moment are perfect for most grazers. It's just cool, you know, just perfect to be out here grazing. You don't need to drink because the grass comes with a bit of water. Harriet Jumbo. We have a very wide variety of plants. If I name a few, we have the Solanum incarnum, we have the desert date, we have the Tanchananthus camphoritis, wild camphor, we have Wambogia ugandensis, Diopsparus abyssinica, or the Siphon pallidus. Just to name a few, there are so many. You know, we don't have very many acacias around where we are, but if they cross the river or go up the escarpment, we do have Gerard's acacia, Acacia kiki, yellow-backed acacia, you know, Acacia Senegal, camelthorn acacia. We have very many different types of trees and acacias, so there is a wide variety of menu for them. And also, you know, have, you know, short ones like cedar masaicas. They love wild cucumber. They also can splay their legs and, you know, bend down to eat them. So there are wide variety of shrubs and trees for them. Giraffes can see in color, and so this guy is very inquisitive. He's very focused on us, and he's looking at us. I think he's passing time. So while feeding, Sassy Cassie. How does a giraffe take care of its own hooves? Well, here it's natural because the ground is very tough and rough and hard. Walking on it usually cleans, you know, the hooves, always making sure that what is needed is left and extra growth is cut off. And so, you know, that's how nature takes care of itself. Yeah, I'm gonna switch the vehicle slightly so that we can see the ostriches plus the giraffes. You know, sorry. Yeah, he's just right here, the giraffe. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's how he takes care of his hooves. Otherwise, if a rock gets in between the hoof, I've never experienced that. It's either it's gonna get really bad for a vet to come and remove it, or they know how to remove it. I've never seen that happen though, here in nature, either with smaller antelopes or giraffes. Looks like he's camera shy today, because now we've turned. I wanted to share more time with you and him, but he has decided to walk, you know, towards behind the vehicle. He's camera shy today, so we're gonna excuse him and maybe have a look at something else. Yeah, we have the female ostriches, 2 of them. They look very, very wet. Yeah, very, very wet. And the area they're in, they don't want to be there. It's full of lions. It looks like they're having a discussion. Yeah, which way do we go? Yeah, this is the only type of ostrich we find here, the Masai ostrich or common ostrich. And I think these guys, either with the advantage of their height and tall necks and, amazing eyesight, they have spotted the lions on the other side. That's where I was, and they have decided to turn back. I would say it is the case. These are females. They're usually gray in color. The males are black, white, and when they're in season, they get very pinkish. These are females. And we sometimes find them in flocks of up to 50 in more arid areas. They love that. Here, flocks get to around 13, 15. Yeah, this is one of our flightless birds in the world. Related to the kiwis, the emus, the rares, and also the penguins. They're all in the same family. They're all birds, but flightless. Something happened along the way. Either there wasn't many, predators originally where they were, so there was no need to fly. But they have developed, a technique where they can dodge and dart predators running at very, very high speeds. Okay, let me leave you to enjoy the sight of these two gulls while we take you to another location.
Welcome back to this other side of the Mara where our buffalo herd is still slowly grazing. You can see some have turned to the left, some have turned to the right. But it seems like they're all heading one direction now. Now this grazing comes in high ranking, where the high ranking brings the privilege of traveling and feeding in the front and in the center of the herd. So the ones at the front always obtain good grazing and maximum protection from predators, while the low-ranking animals at the back have to graze whatever the others have left, and sometimes they suffer heavily when it comes to predation. So you find that when lions or other predators decide to walk or follow this herd, they always pick the ones on the periphery and the ones at the back. Sometimes the lame, the sick will be left. About 3 weeks ago, we saw a small herd of buffaloes where lions from the river pride isolated the last one, which was about sickly and almost a little bit older. So this also happens when these herds move in these big numbers. But you can see sometimes when they have younger ones or the calves, they always make sure that they place them in the middle of the herd where it's easy for them to protect. Oh, something went wrong there. I think one of the mothers is not happy with that bull. So these numbers fluctuate depending on social or environmental factors, where you find during the dry season or during the wet season, they'll congregate in big masses where there's good grazing ground, and in the dry season, they'll be going over for water, maybe find them in a river or maybe a water hole, or when they have younger calves like this. They don't have territories, they occupy home ranges, and you find some herds always walk into these home ranges, and sometimes they overlap each other's home range, but not quite often. Tswalu is always nice to find these kind of big herds. And as they walk like this, they come into those smaller home ranges of bateleur bulls. And those bulls sometimes will chase off other dominant bulls who are here because of their size and their experience. And sometimes they get advantage of mating with some of the cows that are in estrus in this kind of herds. And then they walk off and leave those bulls in those smaller home ranges. So they slowly graze like this, walking towards very good grazing grounds, and then come to a spot where they'll rest, or maybe go for water later on, maybe just before noon. And after that, in the afternoon, you'll see them resting over in the plains. I can hear oxpeckers. So oxpeckers, cattle egrets always follow this kind of herds because they get advantage of the ticks, other parasites, while the cattle egrets get advantage of the small insects that they get disturbed as these animals are walking. So I'm going to leave this herd who is slowly walking and grazing and see what else I can find as I take you over to another live location.
Thank you very much. So we're still here with our beautiful elephants. Looks like they're on a mission. They never static. We can follow them through that. Now we cross the drainage line with them just to see how far they go. I mean, I've seen a lot of huge movement. And then since we were following that single cow, then she able to find the other elephants, which was amazing. So now we're looking at the few elephants around us here. And then they now just drop down slightly into this less wind area, which is, it's actually very low down here where we are right now. You can see the other young male join the young one. See how they play. Put the trunk on the young one's mouth, and the young one also doing the same. So this is what the elephants do, especially with the all different age of the young one. For them to be able to cooperate, show social, that's it's all about. And they all do treat one another better and play just like that. So what they're doing there, they're trying to see if maybe one will able to take over the food from the partner's mouth. Well, it's already swollen up. Now just resting the trunk on top of the other one. It's kind of a play touch. They all love one another, and looking at the two young males here, different age for sure. This one is already a year old. Other slightly bigger one, or swim around, probably 4 years, 3 years, somewhere there. 4 years, you can see the tusk of that young one well developed already, which is the smallest one here. Only they see the tusk shooting up, which we know for sure when they do that. They're already year old, just before a year old. This one able. Good morning, JP. You want to know if there's a female heavier than a male. So here on this animal, elephants, so the female's always a lot smaller in size. So female weigh anything from 3 ton, roughly 3.5 sometimes, fully growing. Could be around nearly 4 ton, but the male would weigh 6 ton. So it's actually a big difference if you want to compare the size, where we don't actually have a big male around them here. You would be able to witness the size, the age as well. So we're just going to pan to one here, which is approaching for more. Just going to see if Mpo is going to get that, but that one is actually very close to us. Thanks, Mpo. There you go. So this is how now you can tell how we're surrounded, finally. I was not to show if we can we're going to get these guys close to us, relax like this. But getting close to them, it's all about, we can park here and they all get attracted. And by these feeding branches, which is all growing up. Good morning, Atypical. You want to know how did the elephant left their scent mark for the other herds to follow? Well, they, on their legs, they don't have a sort of like a gland, of course, but there's a certain smell they can pick it up. For example, if they have moved maybe half an hour or an hour ago in that area, or even 2 hours ago, so depending on the wind also, because sometimes wind, when it blows so much, it finally take away the sense of smell for most animals. They don't really, scent by chemical. And then, of course, that's how they're able to pick one another up. If they walk recently in that area, and the other one that come from the back, they will able to pick up their smell from the others very easily. So for sure, they don't actually scent or have a scent land on them. Easily for the males, especially when they're in kind of mass, which they're dripping urine all the time. That's actually one of the good examples for the male, that smell remain for long, that chemical wherever it's been dropped. So it's probably going to continuously give a lot of flavor of smell for those may be around, able to try and find out where the other male is. And of course, they're very good on knowing that exactly. They can follow each other through either urination, defecation. If ever they've been around, of course, they eat too much, they have to defecate quite often. So it's a way of them able to locate one another. But the key for them to able to find one another, it's a communication, which is a louder sound. So I'm going to stay put here while you're going to enjoy another wild location in Africa. So I'm going to follow a little bit to see how they go for us.
From elephants with Stivovo to more elephants and buffalo. Yes, it looks like today the buffalo doesn't want to be left behind, and here they have been mixed up with, this beautiful big herd of elephant. So, yes, that is the kind of sight or the look that I have. I hope you are enjoying it too. Apart from elephants leaving scents on the ground in terms of droppings and urine, they have very low rumbles that can travel long distances, and that's how they communicate, second to leaving scent. Also, their sense of hearing is very good, and so, while in the bushes, they can listen to the sound of other elephants grazing or browsing or breaking trees and locate them. Oh, that's a tiny little one. It looks like could be the first calf for that female. Or maybe the second, I would say second. Looks like he's learned how to use the trunk. It looks like he's just picked up some grass. Yeah, it's really cute. Just like any other young one or any other baby, elephants' young ones are really, really beautiful. Yeah, it's just one of those scenes that you want to be in. The one that I'm in, it's just beautiful. It's just unexplainable. I have a big herd of about maybe 35 elephants. Anthony, yes, we can. You know, being here long enough, you are able to tell different smell. If you're downwind from an elephant, you will know that that is an elephant. Of course, it has to be, you know, you have to be downwind. It has to be very close. And also, it must have not been in rain for a bit, then you'll smell it. If it's been rain the whole night, you know, the smell is not as strong. But if it's been in the sun and then you're downwind, definitely you'll pick up the smell. This is, you know, the elephants that I have. So many. Just have a look at them. And they're all coming towards me. I'm hoping, you know, they're gonna come and say hello as they pass towards the marsh. Definitely this is not one herd. It could be 2 or 3 small herds that have, you know, come together and form this huge herd. It does happen every now and then for families, related females, to come together, especially when there is time of plenty. And right now, definitely there is plenty of food. There is grass, there is, you know, brush. So there is a lot of food, and they have come together, you know, to utilize this food. And that's when we see a big herd like this. They're just everywhere. And this is super cool. And lots of young ones also. Remember that elephants are very intelligent. They know why they're here. Moondust Jumbo, will elephants or buffalo get into a fight? Yes, I have seen a buffalo toss a young one really hard because it's got in its way. I have seen, you know, a rogue bull buffalo who decided he's gonna fight an elephant, but he was told who's boss. So they do get into fight, especially when they get close to one another. 99% of the time they'll try and avoid each other because there is nothing to fight about. Grass is everywhere, and in fact elephants have got better advantage because they can feed on leaves also. So yes, they do get into fights every now and then. Yeah, they are going to be going towards my right, and actually, you know, you cannot believe that there's almost 40 animals, but it's that quiet. Just listen, you just hear the sound of pulling grass. Yes. Corinne, did you say it's nice to see elephants amongst other animals? Yes, it is nice. They're very gentle, they're very smart, and so they can be amongst other animals, but not lion. They don't like any predator, they don't like, but you know, all the other animals, elephants will hang around them. This is one big herd. Well, actually, I was meant to tell you about Jasiri. I nearly forgot. Thank you. Yeah, my director has just reminded me to tell you a little bit about Jasiri. And Jasiri was supposed to be treated, but because he's doing so well, I spoke to one of the wardens, and he told me that because he's doing so well, there is no need to dart him and put him down again. They're just gonna monitor. If he starts limping again, then they will come, but there is no need to treat him again. They're gonna let him, heal naturally now. So it is over with the treatment for Jasiri. It's a now healing pace, and when we are allowed to screen him, or to share the news with him about him, we will definitely tell you about Jasiri when we are given the permission to do so. But he is very okay, very safe. Yes, so these guys are just all over me. Just listen to the sound of grass ripping. Yes, that's the sound of elephant at the diner. That is how they pull the grass. That's how it sounds. There's no clink, 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 clink like we do. It's just beautiful sound. Yeah, they're crossing the road and heading behind me, but we still have a good number of them with us. It's just a beautiful sight to see these many young ones. And I think the main reason they are out in these numbers is that it's cool. They've been out the whole night. The sun is not out, so it's just perfect for them. It's nice and cool. They don't really like the heat. Sometimes they will be forced to stay out, but with this kind of condition, it is perfect. Actually, you just want to, you want to be out also, because this is the time that we always look forward to when it's cool. It's like a dump, and all animals are out. And here, for sure, they have come out in huge numbers, and I'm really loving it. Remember, this is live. It's coming from the Masai Mara. Talk to us. Hashtag Wild Earth. Question, comments are really welcome. Also, you can talk to us on at FC. Yeah, that looks like a bull, typical of bulls. They start separating, dragging behind, eventually, splitting completely and forming small bachelor herds. And looks like that is what is happening here. Okay, let me leave you with that beautiful sight there, and let's see what's happening with one of my colleagues.
Beautiful. So elephants, from elephants to an elephant. So this is where we come to now, to the very slightly higher point where you're able to now see all the greening that we're now facing through the sun. That's why you see the beauty of the new shoots, and this is what attracts this animal to able to not be static in one place. And then of course grasses and then the whole plant's been so green, and then it means they're healthy for them, so they don't have to sometimes push trees quite a lot, and they don't have to debark trees quite a lot because the food is available in this point. Since the rain has come, it was not much rain, but you can see a big change already. So this group of elephants, there seems to be not doing a lot of communication here. Maybe this is not only the group here. If it's a big number, then it may happen that the other group are far away. Because the tracks we were following, it was not actually a massive group of elephants. So it was just a small herd. I think this is the only group, the herd we see right now here. And then the grass is very nutritious. plants is very wet, they won't push too much for a drink because then they get moisture from what they eat most. But they may drink quite a few times a day because they have to dilute what they have eaten. And there are ruminant animals, elephant, they all stand all day long, eat. And there's only very small chance of them finding maybe freeze, static, sometimes asleep. These young ones will able to go down the floor, and they have a lot of chance to do that because they're still quite young. And they can lie on the floor, take a nap while their old parents standing or feeding. And sometimes when they have to move, there's the only time the matriarch is a leader in a group where she take them to where she wants, and everywhere she moves, she knows exactly what the reason in that direction she take them to. If there is a change, of course, it's going to be delay, and then she will lead them backwards also. If there is all going to be static and she won't going to move, then it's a sign for everybody to know that, okay, means this is where we're going to be static for a while. They move night and day, and that's how they do. And it's also something to do with one-chambered stomach animal. Can you repeat that question there again? Water bark. So you want to know what happens to an elephant when they get to this sprint on a trunk. So a lot of time, you know, the trunk is sensitive. You know, if there's nothing block the airway, then it should be fine. But then, if it's that affection, you know, would damage the airway, which is trunk is the only nostrils they have, and then only hand they have to able to use them. So it's a weapon. It's actually a hand. It's actually only a tool they would ever have. So it's useful for some reason. Drinking water, they use them. Feed, they use them. And then supported by the tuskers. But if they ever infection take place where they can't breathe, and then of course that elephant will suffer, because when they're trying to breathe through the mouth, they don't actually get used to that. But if they have to, they will be able to do that for able them to survive. And then every time you're around that herd of elephants, you would hear kind of like a growl every now and then for that animal trying to suck air in through the mouth, but also out, which is not the actually usual way of them doing it. So yeah, that would happen, but otherwise won't die immediately though, would still survive. And then looks like now they're going to just disappear away from us. And then what we do here, we still have a lot of time to be able to find them again. So there they move on. But what I will do, I'm going to move on, try and find another wild animal to show you, and while I'm taking you to another guide somewhere else in different locations.
From the elephants who are moving on, we come across this giraffe that is slowly browsing from bush to bush. See, the very long neck also helps them to reach high above the trees and sometimes on the bushes. She looks like a little bit pregnant, and just behind her there's a calf who seems like about a year and a half or maybe 2 years old. Super cute. sometimes for protection, these calves will be left by their mothers about to graze and to herd by themselves. And you can see that he's slowly just following mom while still browsing on those leaves and twigs. Thanks to the rain, those fresh leaves that pop up on those trees become very nutritious for them. Now sometimes they'll be left over, and their mothers will walk up to about 3 kilometers, leaving them in a nursery where they'll be by themselves. But it seems like when they're about 2 years, almost 3, they're able to outrun predators and they can sometimes follow mom. They're selective feeders. You saw how he walked and grazed and browsed rather, and then got to this other bush to browse. They prefer feeding on the cooler parts of the morning and the late afternoon when it's a little bit cool, so that they can enjoy that useless energy. And then during the day they take time to rest. Sophia, thank you so much. And a very good question from our 8-year-old. The reason why the calves are not with the mothers when they're super small is because they are kept away from predators. And sometimes when they're this close to their mother, they can be able to be tracked by predators, especially if a lion walks here and gets to see that older giraffe or the mom. So you can get an advantage of that calf. So the reason why they have to leave them in a place secure enough, in a nursery, where they'll be herding or browsing by themselves. But it's not as dangerous because mom she's tall, she can see from all directions. They have very sharp eyes. So at the moment it's not dangerous at all. And that calf can really be able to outrun a predator. See what's happening? Mom has come to the road. She's scanning over, watching around whether there's predator. These bushes sometimes can harbor predators, hyenas, leopard, even lion. So she has to be cautious and watchful. It's not dangerous for me to be close to these herds because I keep a distance, and most of these animals are habituated to seeing us close. But if I'll be on foot, then all the animals will be a little bit worried, because when I'm on foot, it breaks that profile from being in a vehicle. So I would say right now I'm not in danger. I think this mom will lead us to another big herd, because females will always walk together and bulls will always isolate themselves. So let's see if she'll take us to another group of giraffes as I take you over to another live location.
So now we're looking around for, dung beetle, which is just vanished into the bush. There are little things. When they decided to stick on the road, when they rolled a little ball which they made from dung, which I think could be any of a dung they can roll the dung from. But they just move into this grasses. There's no visual for now. I'm gonna try this back if we can find another visual again. It's gone. So yeah, there was a dung beetle, was just rolling the balls along the road, but eventually just move off the road as we just trying to get into the feed on you guys. But you know, we're definitely going to find another. It's a time of a season here where there's going to be a lot of dung beetles. So I'm going to move again. My mission is to move to trying to find another animal for you while we're taking you to another locations.
It's always nice when you watch dung beetles. They play a very important role, especially in the disposal of dung. How cute was that? Now these giraffes are slowly browsing, and you can see how they're selective, walking from bush to bush. So when these young giraffes are young, they have to be dependent on their mothers for about 14 months, 12 to 14 months, when they are weaned, which is very, very nice to see them as they are walking slowly with the mother. And when they're about almost a year or two, they will start leaving their mothers and walking to. Caroline, thank you so much for your question. Giraffes can live up to about 20 in the wild. 20 in captivity, and sometimes in the wild you can find them to be up to 17. So they live longer in captivity. We have a place called the Giraffe Center here in Kenya where they have the Rothschild giraffe, and some of them have been up to 25, 26. So it depends on the environment where they are, but I think in the wild they can go up to about 17, 18. Despite them eating those bushes and leaves. Mundas, thank you for your question. The longest they can stay with their mom is about 15 to 17 months, and then they start becoming independent. This is a young bull. So I'd say sometimes when they're about that age, you see them wandering off with other younger males, and then females with the younger males will always mix together, but bulls always hang around together. And one or few occasions where they'll be walking from one home range to another home range in search of females. So I'd say about 15 to 17 months. So now after the rains, there's some fresh sprouts of grass that have popped out. So despite them eating those bushes, they'll also pick on the freshly sprout grass. You see them splaying off their legs, their front legs, and then reaching the grass. But it seems like today those bushes are very much nutritious, have fresh leaves that have popped up. You can see them enjoying that bush very much. Background, I can see some wildebeest. I think they're walking over to join other herds. Their long tongues help them to pull off leaves from those branches, and sometimes they're very spiky, but they always have a way of avoiding those thorns, and if they pull the thorns into their mouth, they always spit them out. She decided to walk to another bush. Look at how she just twists and turns as she keeps on browsing from leaves to leaves. They're very so much selective. Swali, thank you for your question. I think they can eat up to about 15 to 16 kilos of food in a day. That is what they can eat. Atypical, thank you so much for your question. It's not rare to see them in dark color. It's genetic mutation, or genetic variation rather, where you find that some animals tend to be dark or light in color. So we find that some other, when they get to what we call leucism, that is different from when you have animals dark in color. So it's genetic variation where you find dark or light animals. There's another giraffe approaching. Look at how light in color that one looks. So females will hang around together, and this is one other female that is coming to join the mother and the calf. So I'm going to sit here and watch these giraffes browsing and those zebras grazing as I take you over to another live location.
Yes. Yeah, from all the animals to one of the masters of the sky, Bateleur eagle. This is an immature one. Takes about 3 to 7 years to really get the adult plumage, but already he is a master of the sky. This is a bird that has been known to soar in the air using hot thermals, yes, and he has taken off. They just need to flap a few times, and once they catch full speed, they just can, twist and turn without flapping. They have ability to do so because their wingspan is much bigger and enough to hold their weight all around. Bateleur eagle. It's one of the most beautiful eagles we have here. It used to be called the short-tailed snake eagle, hence its name. They feed on snakes, small mice, also rodents. Yeah, very common here in the Masai Mara, but now it's called Bateleur eagle. That was an immature, but when they get full color, they're really, really beautiful. Okay, let's move on. Let's see what else we can find. Oh dear, my car has decided not to start. Maybe I'll do something and it will start. It does happen. gremlins do kick in after a while. The bouncing and bouncing around. The vehicles do sometimes refuse to start. Let me see if it's gonna start. Oh yes, there we go. Super cool. So it looks like the Bateleurs are soaring above here. Who are these? No. So I'm gonna move on further down here. This is where I saw the small battle between the buffalo and the lion this morning. I don't know if I can find the lions again. This is an off-road driving area, so I have to be very careful, and hopefully they're very close to the track. But it's a very, very beautiful area, and it's very, very wet from the rain from last night. It has stopped now, but believe me, it's very wet. Yeah, nothing in sight yet, but it's just a beautiful sight. Well, let me continue on, see what I can find for you guys. One look here, and then I can move on while I take you to one of my fellow guides somewhere.
Now back to our giraffes. It seems like this female giraffe has joined the rest, and you can see it walking very slowly and browsing those leaves. Seems like very nutritious, and because it was raining yesterday, they have lots of water. And there's fresh sprouts that have popped up. They get to enjoy that. We have zebras who are around here, and at least they know that when the giraffes are around here, then the security is tight because they can watch over for predators. You can see how white she is, very bright in color. So this is the same species, the Masai or giraffe. We have about 3 subspecies here. We have the Rothschild, we have the reticulated, but Masai giraffes are found from south of the equator all the way down to Serengeti. Bridget, thank you so much for your question. A giraffe will defend itself mainly by using the legs. So if a predator is up on the front, what they normally do, they will kick or sweep with the front legs, and then the hind legs are very strong. Look at how big and strong they are. They will also kick using the same. So that is one big defense that they use. Leg, and it's reckoned that one good kick can kill a fully grown lion. She's slowly joined there. So these giraffes live in very small unstable group, so you find youngsters, be it male and female, and those females that they always live around together. But the dominant bulls always don't join them, but they walk from home ranges to home range in search of these females. So if there's a dominant bull that will come here, excuse me, will come to check if this one of these is ready to mate, and if not, he will wander off. Sometimes you find youngsters sparring, and that is one of the social interaction. Females will not always be fighting, but sometimes you see them just sparring a little bit. Seems like a good feeding place for this giraffe, so I'm going to stick here as I take you over to another live location.
Beautiful. So we came to this den. I was not actually thinking if I would be able to find them, because the den is very windy, but also it's already getting late for. But yeah, it's nice. But they are here. One female's there, and a lot of cubs running around. A looking beautiful animal. One cub's drinking, which means it's only maybe the mother that arrived here in this den. They don't actually cross-feed when it comes to milk. The hyena, not more likely. They don't really want to do that. Probably, oh, there's another one coming from the back there. Oh, frightened. Piece of skin, looks like it, I don't know. It looks like a big skin for me. I can't tell. Looks like quite a few bones here that we have to bring it in since from last night. So I was just going to take that skin into that barrow. Just trying to identify the skin. It's very dry skin. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the skin is, but it looks like very thick skin now. Could be from giraffe or there's not a lot of hair on its skin, so I can't really properly tell what it's skin from, which animal. Can't be from the buffalo, it's not dark enough to be. Just gonna take a moment of a silence just to listen to the sound they're making right now. It's amazing sound. Since that they're all happy with their skin, this is the only time the young one will able to practice their jaws since this younger, and they will able to chew in that very dry thing. And the other one's trying to lick on that bone. It's probably just going to finally that bone is going to be all chewed properly, slowly. Even though it takes so many of the days for them to be able to chew that bone completely done, they were able to because they have such a very strong canine teeth. I can tell you these animals, their canine teeth, it's more than lions can. It's so strong. So I'm gonna send you to a guide who will show you again more of wonders of the wild. I'm gonna stick in this area just to see what happened with these hyenas.
How old do you think this tortoise is, Sean? How old do you think this tortoise is? Maybe a couple of months old?
Well, look what we have here. Yes, one of my other favorite animals, the common warthog. And here looks like these are related and they're very, very busy grazing on the grass. These are omnivores, these animals, and a few of them looks like they're young males and others are females. Yeah, how you can tell the males is that if you look at the face, there is those protrusion. Hey, well, was that Jumbo? How are you? Yes. Is it gonna get serious? And those two are males. They have 4 warts. Apart from the real warts, they have knobs that are growing on the face, 4 of them, 2 just below the face, the eye, and then 2 very close to the warts. So definitely you can tell they are males. Usually, they go in groups of up to, sometimes 12. And the females give birth to very, very many, up to around 8. They're usually very interesting and funny to watch. And they are born in barrows. After a gestation period of 6 months, their eyesight is good, but because their eyesight is, their eyes are small, sometimes they don't see really well. Their ears are also very good. Their sense of smell, very, very good. And they can run really, really fast. Yes, a fully grown one can weigh from 60 to almost 150 kilos. So they're big. They can get really, really big. Yes, let's find out what's happening somewhere else.
Another beautiful reptile this morning. How lucky are we? Another beautiful yellow and mottled Cape cobra. Look at that animal. We actually just met one of the Tswalu Foundation researchers here, busy studying these magnificent creatures. And as we stopped the vehicle, the hood was splayed, and that's actually how we found the animal. Obviously with the expertise of Tilo himself. Amazing. Look how the hood is splayed there. Into the bushes. Oh, wow. So just one snake. Let's just make sure there's no other snakes around us. We've learned time and time again, especially with cobras, that we need to be on our toes. But what an amazing sight. We're going to hold out here. Hopefully it does come out left or right of this bush and we can get another view of this magnificent creature. But a really nice animal to see, especially early morning like this. It's still moving. You got it there, David? It's just me. I can see the scales shining. So let's see where this animal moves and hopefully we can get another view. It's obviously using the sun to warm up. It has been a bit chilly, and obviously for reptiles, these cooler conditions make them very sluggish. So having that hood, it'll actually expand that hood to increase surface area. High beyond, do these types of cobras spit? No, they don't. You get the Mozambican spitting cobra, and then the black spitting cobra within this area that also does do that action of spitting. This specific species, the Cape cobra, does not do that. Obviously the fangs need to be structured in a manner where, and the behavior has to be in a manner where it can achieve that type of behavior. And I mean, they can be very accurate. I think up to about 2 meters, they can be as accurate to the point of where they want that venom to go. Wow, what a treat. So once again, with snakes, guys, obviously with our new viewers, just always remain, always practice caution, high degree of caution when around snakes. And only if you're an expert and you know what you do you go and, try and remove them from a place or get a closer view. But otherwise, keeping a nice distance and just observing is the key factor into staying safe for you and the snake, and then enjoying behavior, which is most importantly displayed in a natural state. We're going to send you off to another location and we'll see you shortly.
Well, I'm still here with my warthogs, and looks like they've gotten used to me now, and they're very relaxed. Well, a warthog can go without drinking water for very long periods, and especially when they get food with water like this, they'll go for a very long time without drinking. They have excellent hearing and smell, very, very good. Yeah, very, very good. And they are daylight animals that would prefer, to be out during the day, only coming out at night. Going back at night and burrowing. Normally, they utilized old aardvark holes. When an aardvark hunts for termites, it digs a hole, sometimes 2 or 3 meters deep into a termite mound. Warthogs and other animals can utilize these holes. They customize them, and those tusks play a very big role in making the holes bigger and spacious for them. They usually back off. They go in and backwards. So if you ever walk in front of a warthog hole, be very careful. They come with full speed, 4-wheel drive, and they have been known to break people's legs. So when you're doing safari walks in Africa, be very, very careful. You don't walk in front of a burrow. They stay in during the day, during the night, only coming out at night. Lana, Jumbo, are warthogs fight fatal? I've never seen any casualties, but injuries, yes, I have seen very serious injuries. Usually because they're very smart, after a lengthy fight, one usually gives up, but always after receiving some very serious wounds along the neck and body. So I've never seen death, but, loss of blood could lead to death, but I've never seen death. But, they can be very serious. They can be it can inflict quite serious injuries. It looks like something spooked them and they're ready to go. Stopped. They have very good sense of hearing, so they are able to stop and reason and find out exactly what that was. They have a very short neck, and so warthogs can lean down to get a better reach of grass. You can see they have a very flat muzzle over there. That is so hard, it's like a hoof. And they use it in the dry season to almost dig out roots and tubers. I've seen them, use it to dig, and they remove grass and tubers from underground. Yeah, looks like that's one happy warthog. You can see the twitching of the tail. Well, they're very smart, and I'm sure he is wondering why I've been here this long, and now he is getting uncomfortable. And he's thinking, no, I don't think I want to be here any longer. Maybe these guys are watching a lion that's trying to come for me. And I think the best thing I can do also is to leave him. He has given me quite some quality time. So goodbye, warthog. Good luck. No lion coming for you. Yes, let's continue on. And now we are on a highway. No need to worry about getting stuck. Let's take you to another live safari vehicle.
Thanks, Isaac. It's about the same here in this Hyena den, where all of a sudden the young one ran back to the holes, and this mother is standing outside there, still trying to scan around. We saw impalas from a distance. I ran across. I think from there, then they're not actually 100% sure what's happening outside the den. remember, for safety, it counts so much since they have this den active with their young one here. And they have to make sure it's all okay. Able to identify that skin was a giraffe skin, and even that bone I have was a giraffe bone. There was two of them here and a lot of a young one. Since the young one had ran back to the holes, and the other one also was already moved out of here with that piece of bone. Only that one there also dropped that skin on the background since that Impala ran here across, and she's still checking out. Possibly now the den visited by a lot of the dangerous animals such as a lion sometimes. And that's why they're all careful about what's going on, who's coming in, who's not. But anyway, when it happens, there's so much wind here. You have to check carefully what's around. So I'm gonna search on the background on the other side what's going on, and then I'm going to send you to another guide who will continue show you more of the wild. Just gonna see what's happening on the background there.
Here we go again with these 3 cheetahs here, and looks like they start hunting. There's Impala around there, far across. You won't be able to see from where we are for now, but looks like the youngsters as well. Look like they must be on the hunt. But the mom, she looked like she's facing different direction away from these Impalas. And I think also she's trying to figure out how she can use the cover to get closer to this Impala and then start chasing. As you can see, it's a little bit more open into our left. Quite nice, good cover into the right-hand side, but it must be a windy problem. Yeah, but yeah, she will. Yeah, she's quite interested. Even the cubs, the way you look at them, they're looking direct where the Impalas are, but it's quite away from where we are. Not very good view for the Impala. If you look very carefully, you can easily see some movement from the distance. That's where the Impala is. See the dead cubs? The second cubs right there. You can see the Impala right there. But they looks like they have no idea there are some cheetah right close. As you can see, they're not even lambing. But they've been chasing each other earlier on. But now, they look like they're a bit, maybe they pick up a wind, but they're not too sure. As you can see, they're just moving away from the cheetah, but not lambing at all. Normally when they smell or not too sure, they move like that. But if they see it, they start lamb calling, which is warning signal for anyone around. You can see the cubs also look like they lost interest a bit, but they're still looking. But sometime, as soon as the Impala disappear, when the mother, she's sure no one can see them, she can start put more effort to follow that. But we'll see. She might try it again. Yo, look at that. It's a lovely area. It's very good trees, very good cover for if she's more keen. Now the Impala disappearing, which is very good for her. If she's putting more effort, she might be able to get closer and closer because it's very good cover here. Look at how good a camouflage in there, between the stone. A lot of these acacias around this area. That's what the Impala been feeding on that. One of the cubs, 2 of the cubs are just lying down. Looks like they lost interest. Yeah, it looks like Mom, she's looking again. Yeah, if you look at Mom, she's lifting her ear a little bit, looking, but doesn't really look like it's anything gonna happen. But Impala looks like they're coming back again. We'll sit here and wait and see what's gonna happen.
Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about repositioning there. We had got this little mother elephant with her youngster, and then one of our hyenas popped out. Looks like one of June's youngsters. I heard some noise in the bush here, so I'm going to have a little investigation. What's she doing? She's having a proper little sniff around. Maybe we've got a spotted cat somewhere nearby with some food. Elephants just grazing. I have a feeling this is the same small group of elephants Andrew's been with. One mother with her youngster. Yes, it's her. We had her the other day. Enjoying the nice green grass growing down here in the drainage line. Oh, it's time for a toilet break. No time to stop eating, though. Just move on to a different patch. Letty, you want to know when and how elephants sleep? They can actually physically lie down on the ground. The small elephants do lie down on the ground. Bigger elephants normally lean against banks or termite mounds or a slope of some sort, normally quite soft or sandy ground. And it can be at any time, really. 20 minutes, half an hour, sometimes a couple hours a day. For the most part, it might happen in the middle of the day. You know, adults might just stand there, youngsters sleeping at their feet, and they actually can fall asleep while standing. But when we were doing the thermal drone a couple of years ago, we came across many herds of elephants flat out on the ground, flat out. So they do lie down a lot more than we actually give them credit for. They pick different times of day to do so, either the heat of the day or maybe right late at night or really early in the morning. But for the most part, elephants are busy moving and eating enormous amounts of time during the day. Okay, well, there we go. She's just gone down. I'm actually going to, in a moment, go and investigate up the bank here what this hyena's hanging around for. It's gone straight back to where it came down from. Maybe. I'm looking in the trees. I can't see anything at the moment. But it's very possible we could have a leopard somewhere with some food. For a hyena to come down the bank and then to go back to the same spot is a very good sign that they've got something of interest.
I really hope you managed to find that leopard. Luckily enough for us, we've managed to find what seems to be a large portion of the Birmingham pride. The rest of the pride may very well be lying around in the grass. Remember this morning we were with another Birmingham lioness with two of the smallest cubs who it seems she's trying to keep away from the rest of the pride like this. I think due to the tension, or with the older youngsters, they might be a little bit bullish and rough to play with the younger ones that we saw this morning. So she's trying to keep them away. You see them lying in the shade. It is starting to warm up. The wind has picked up quite a lot, actually. You can see the little stretches, almost like getting ready to settle in for the rest of the day. All lying quite close to one another. don't know if you see, Odie, if you can go a little bit to the left next to the male there. So you can see the male with its mane. Looks like that one, I don't know if you remember me talking about it this morning. There was that one that was almost eating grass. I will once again think this one's looking for moisture off of that longer green grass that hasn't had much of the sun, hasn't been eaten by any of the animals just yet. Just a little bit of moisture to moisten up the palate. Interesting, the white lions, I can't see any of them at the moment. They may very well be lying around here. However, one of the disadvantages of being a white lion is that you stand out quite a lot. And I can't seem to see them anywhere here. I wonder where they've been. Yesterday they were all together. So there's 8 here. Then there were the 3 in the riverbed this morning. That means we're missing 7 of them still. During the evening, walking from where they were last night, they haven't walked terribly far, particularly for this pride. They've got a really large territory, and in one evening can cover serious ground. Many, many kilometers in one evening. And as you can see, it can often be quite exhausting. They ate a giraffe, a small giraffe, 2 days ago now. Look at that one's legs wide open, almost enjoying the breeze blowing over. Like a lioness, her tummy amazing, the color of the white. Billy, thanks for your question. Is it uncommon that the white lions have survived this long? Billy, incredibly uncommon. Firstly, to have white lions, particularly in a wild environment like this, is incredibly rare, and for them to survive is even more rare. Just general lion cubs, they say in books that it's about a 40% survival rate of any lion cub. Then you add the disadvantage of being white. You stand out incredibly, and that makes you very vulnerable towards predation, and that will lower your chances of survival as being a white lion. Can you imagine being a white color compared to these lions? I mean, when they lie on their tummies covered and the grass, they will disappear. Their camouflage is amazing. Then they use the cover of darkness to hunt as well. So being a white lion moving through the darkness, you'll almost glow and stand out, which is a serious disadvantage to even trying to feed and eat when you get older if you've managed to survive that long. Sure, if you can hear that in the background, there's a red-crested koran calling. Just waiting to see if it flies up and does its display. They're all looking pretty exhausted. I love our lions. I mean, they're pretty much the only gregarious and very social cat. They're all lying almost right on top of each other in the shade of a very small quarry. I think the wind is doing a good enough job to keep them cool for now. And yeah, I'm sure they're going to spend the rest of the afternoon here or hereabouts, and then later this afternoon or this evening, they'll get up and move around and potentially look for some more food. Beautiful. It's going to be great for the afternoon. Lions are also cuddly as well. They're so beautiful, especially in the pride. They love each other. Here we just trying to investigate what was all about that Impala running across that near the den that makes everybody run back to the den. And we find that it could be maybe they were running away from this hyena that is lying down or lying in the pool. They do that sometimes. Hyena, they always love water, sleeping in a shell of water just like that. They weren't going to go too much to very deep water, but that's pretty much enough to get them muddy on their underparts. And then they're able to identify this individual hyena right here as a ribbon. Just identified by lying down there with his beautiful ears on the other side's been cut off twice. And she's also alert as well, looking around here. And then it's probably because the wind is picking up so much now. And all just going to be all well alert. The wild animals, they're all scavengers, carnivores, but they all worry about the other dangers. Could be lions, sometimes going after them. So it's well enough for them to look. It's going to be a wrap. You can see exactly. It's a true hyena. It's all wet, dripping of the water. So everybody, this is going to be, we're coming in at the end of the show for this morning. Just want to thank everybody to be in a part of the show this morning. And hopefully we meet again this afternoon. Very same times, 3 o'clock will be best time to be able to get around and be able to share, interact in the wild animals. Goodbye. See you this afternoon.
Can you believe it? This is just absolutely insane.
Head into the mystery of the African wilderness live right here on Wild Earth.
There she goes. She's coming right towards us.
From the wilds of the Greater Kruger to the majestic dunes of the Kalahari.
Live, this is happening right now.
This is one of the big safari specials on any reserve.
Tune in to meet our captivating animal characters and talk to the experts in real time, only on Wild Earth. This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon and a warm welcome to you in the Masai Mara of Kenya. We have a lioness that has been stalking here but missed out. Welcome aboard to your very own safari live from the African wilderness.